Welcome back to a new video on the channel. Today's a little bit of a different video, diving into 36 quick tips of how to become a better Fortnite player. I'm going to help you improve your skills in box fighting, build fighting, and even team communication in this video. If this video does help you out, be sure to subscribe to the channel. If you would also like to support me in the Fortnite item shop, you can use code peeper, P-E-E-P-E-R. I'm also live on Twitch at twitch.tv/peeper1235, linked in the description down below. So come and say hi. Let's get right into the video. So the first tip I would like to show you is a peanut butter edit. This is a peanut butter edit right here, and this is how you correctly peek a peanut butter edit. As you can see right there, I just mantled up. So this is the correct way to do it to not make you mantle. All you have to do is place one floor right above your head so you don't jump as high and you don't mantle. So you can jump, quickly shoot, and then be completely safe. Make sure this is on a right hand peek so you can get optimal peeking, if that's a word. Tip number 2 is, if someone's box like this, make sure to put floors and cones on every side of their box in case they edit out. If they do edit out, you have their roof, you can make an edit and eliminate them. Tip number 3 is, if someone sprays in your box and happens to get in, you can actually make this edit right here. You go all the way around with your ramp, you get on top of the ramp, confirm, reset it, and you can surprise them. They'll never see it coming. Tip number 4 is actually a pretty cool build glitch that a lot of people use. If you put your reticle right underneath this wall of the enemy's box, you can place the build right through into their box. Of course, this only works if there's nothing in their box, but it's a pretty cool trick. And then take their wall and eliminate them. And tip number 5 actually avoids tip number 4. Make sure you always put a cone or a ramp in your box so that does not happen to you. Whenever you rotate to the next zone, make sure you make more than one box, if you have the mats for it, of course. I would recommend making 3 boxes because that can protect you from more angles your enemy players could shoot you from. You also will have more space to move in if someone pushes your box. I won that game, by the way. When you're in these boxes, you're going to want a cone peek. A lot of new players will not cone peek, and this will give you visuals on everyone in the map. When you cone peek, make sure to edit the floor, stand in the cone, reset the floor, and then cone peek. This will let you peek without other enemy players knowing that you're peeking. Tip number 8 is pretty simple. If you shoot out an enemy's wall, you can replace the wall from one box away. Most of your enemies will not expect this, and you can get their wall very easily and catch them off guard. The next tip I use a ton. If you're in a box and an enemy player has your wall, as soon as the enemy player makes the edit, you can shoot out the wall with your shotgun and replace it very quickly. This can help you not get killed, but make sure you remember the enemy can do the same thing back to you, so be careful on those edits. The last box fight tip I have for you is that if you are at an end zone, make sure to box up at a good layer. You do not want to be on a layer that has a ton of people where you can get shot or pushed very easily. And GG's. So this next footage broke a little bit, but if you're just starting out your build fight and both of you are ramping up, you are always going to want to ramp up to the left, place a ramp over there on their head so you can edit the ramp and have a right hand peek on the player. You can also have a chance to try to piece control the player and get a full box. Then you can say box like a flopper. This next tip is the most important for build fighting. When you ramp up, make sure to place walls in your enemy's lines of sight so they cannot get a shot on you. This is if you have low ground and you're trying to build up. The next one is that you can spray into an enemy's roof to enter their box. This one you have to time it perfectly and you will slip right in their box and they will not expect it. This is only if they don't have a cone. Watch out for cones. Tip 14 is that you make sure to go for unpredictable shots. A shot that you can use is just edit out your back wall, mantle up, and shoot the enemy player. This trick has been used on me so many times. Yeah, I'm looking at you, Skies. This next tip is a little more complicated, but it's a high wall cone place into a full piece edit. All you have to do when you both are building up, you just jump, place some high walls and a cone at the same time. Make sure you're getting that back wall, build up, put that last wall on, edit it, and eliminate your opponent. If you have low ground and want to get height, make sure you practice your triple edits because this can be very helpful with blocking your enemy's shots in line of sight. While you're building up, also make sure to block your back. You can practice this in some of Raider's 464 maps also. He has a lot of different edit courses that you can play, and there's some new ones that are up currently. This next one can help you a ton while moving faster while you're building. When you're building up, make sure to sprint when you can. This is for more advanced players but can be learned very quickly. As you can see right here, I'm sprinting between building, which makes me go up very fast and is way more efficient. Tip 18 is very simple. Just make sure that you practice your side jumps while covering your enemy's line of sight. A good way of blocking your enemy's line of sight is when you're boxed up, edit above, make a box while you're still in the cone, then keep repeating until you built up safely. Finally, we have made it to tip 20. This is my last build of the fighting tip, and it's just to 1v1 other players' creative maps. Just 1v1ing players can teach you what you're doing right and what you're doing wrong. You can do this in the Clix 1v1 or other 1v1s. I also want to make a 1v1 map of my own, so stay tuned for that. Moving on to tarping and boxing. There are many different kinds of tarps, including a cheap tarp and a full box tarp. A cheap tarp is when you're not using many materials. You're only placing 3 builds per block. The other kind of tarp is a fully built box. This kind of tarp can cover up all of your angles, but can also use a lot of your materials. Make sure when you practice your cheap tarps, you place a floor, a cone, you edit the cone, and then you place a wall to your left, and then repeat. Or if you want to do it on the other side, you can place it to the right. You can also switch sides mid-tarp. These cheap tarps are really good for getting in a circle very quickly, and I would say practice until you are very quick at it. Make sure you also practice your full tarps because you're going to be needing this in the later zones. You can either full tarp with cones or you can full tarp without cones. The cones look like this and without cones looks like this. The next kind of tarp I want to talk to you about is a cheap diagonal tarp. This is another kind of tarp you can use to get into zone very quickly at a diagonal angle. This tarp does not cover all your sides, but can be very useful for getting in quick. I don't use this as much as the cheap tarp, but it could work better for you. All you have to do is place a cone floor, edit the cone, place a wall, edit the wall, place a cone floor, edit the cone, place a wall, edit the wall, and repeat. And continue to do this until you can do it confidently. A quick tip that can help you cover your back is looking down and placing one ramp so it will place behind you. This will cover your back from enemies so you do not get shot when you're running into the next zone. Take note that if you're doing this on the Fortnite island, your ramp may face under the map, causing you to not place it behind you. If you think that the ramp will not be placed behind you, make sure to place your crosshair at the top left corner of a wall and then place your ramp. This will place it behind you every time. Tip number 25 is actually tip number 22 and tip number 24 combined. This is a harder tip to master and it will take time, but if you are full tarping, you can place a ramp behind you, and this will block the enemies that are spraying into your tarp trying to eliminate you. The next tip is that if you are out of match trying to rotate to the next circle, you can use other people's tarps to get in. The next tip is make sure that when you are rotating to the next zone coming out of your tarp, that you place ramps and slide down it. You're going to want to place ramps while sliding, and then you're going to continuously slide and place ramps up. This will get quicker rotation so you don't have to be exposed for a super long time. Tip number 28 is when you box up at end zone, make sure you are in the circle. Rotating to the next circle is key to winning the game. When you rotate, you're going to want to go around the outer edge of the circle. Don't forget that you can also tarp upwards by placing a ramp, then building walls, and then placing either a cone, ramp, or floor above you. This is a harder mechanic to do alone, that's why it's better to do in duos, but it is possible in solos. The last tip for tarping is that every couple boxes, you're going to want to block your back, either by resetting the wall, placing a wall, or placing a ramp behind you to block any enemies that may have gotten into your tarp. Once again, it's easier to do in duos, but you can do it alone. We have 6 more tips to go, and for this next one, I'm going to be showing you teamwork. We're going to be watching Clix for these next 3 tips, so let's get right on with it. Before you start a tournament, you and your teammate are going to want to assign roles for each of you. These roles are IGL, which stands for in-game leader, and fragger. The IGL is in charge for all the rotation for the game and how they're going to play the game most efficiently to win. The fragger's job is to get a lot of damage out for Storm Surge and get more kills. At the end of the game, your IGL should be tarping and your fragger should be looking to get some elims. It doesn't always have to be this way, but if your fragger's really good at getting elims, this is the most efficient way to do that. Comms is another word for communication. If you want to win the game, you have to have good callouts and comms. This includes asking your teammate how many mats they have and if they need any heals, and vice versa. You're also going to want to call out if you tag someone for a certain amount of damage and if you can push that person. Clix in his duo does a really good job of doing this in this duo cash cup. Tip 33 is to play your game smart. Just because you hit someone for a lot of damage doesn't mean you can kill their whole team. When you're watching Clix, listen to his callouts and his team communication.
We need to go for something really quick, just real quick.
What do you need?
Just coming in. We can go for this floor.
Zone pulls in 10 seconds.
Dude, I can edit it. I can. Hey, you put an echo on there. Just come back.
New mats?
I saw they didn't have a cone on that floor. No. Just wait for zone pull. Let's go.
Place ramps above your head.
You're good.
Yeah, now you can run.
You good?
Yeah, I got hit.
I got D. This game is. Yep.
4 serves.
I'm 225. Look back. Stop. Look now, look yes.
I'm gonna pop a derp.
Yeah.
I'm gonna wait till we rotate. No, I'm gonna go now.
I'm like 225. You can split me mats now.
Okay,
or did you already split?
Here? No. I definitely got it.
Spray out these walls.
40?
Yeah.
That bitch.
I see you don't think we get ahead?
Come in,
No.
20.
Get that tarp and make space now. Make space. Hard.
There's a team behind us,
I'm bringing body.
Yeah.
Fall body back.
Carry your back tarp now. Get the neutral for you. Swoop. Hoover that shit.
Fall me.
I'm going after metal. I'm not happy.
Got it. I know red by the way.
Action run.
Go to me.
Come on. Ought to be there.
Pull your back.
I'll try back.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Fine.
I'll be with you.
Nice. Now
Alright,
stop
we can try to hold those kids.
Yeah.
I'm gonna splash once, so I'm gonna
Holding this.
head to like 30. 60. 100. Just spam, drop him.
Let me go.
I'm just reloading, just spam, keep spam. 30 and server.
Really short. One stick.
What's up, sign?
Good.
5 more.
405, guys.
Alright. Split me wood.
Yeah, 20.
I'm gonna get that hole. Let's
I cast.
On you.
With you.
Full box.
Run. I can't see it.
Let's get it.
With you. Now your wall. I'm playing with you.
Cut them off.
Yeah.
Watch your right.
No,
Got it.
stay front.
I'm hurry from the street. You stay front.
Wait, I have a deagle. 100. 150 on the switch to the right.
Stay front.
Follow me.
Yeah, I'm on you.
Okay, I'm out of wood. I poured metal. I hit the kid's door right. Hit the kid's door right 100. Go.
Kill the guy on the outside.
Yeah, come in.
Yeah. Right above you.
Yeah, just throw them out. It's on.
That's good, Max.
Alright, stay here.
Okay. Here in 10. Metal.
Wait for pull.
Be ready to zoom.
Be like reset. In the end.
No, be ready to
Yeah,
zoom.
I don't need you right now.
I got it.
I'm God Master 3-4.
Pulse.
Go. Go.
Yeah.
Sorry, yeah, with you.
Hey, maybe get a kill here. Let's look back on the side.
Just dead. Get through all this shit.
Yeah. I'm
Nobody be honest. Yeah.
Hey, on our side. On me.
Watch your left.
Nah, you went up. You went up.
Cut people off now.
Pulse full down. Let's do it.
Yeah, drop down. It's free.
With you.
There's rifts in play, by the way. Island.
Nice.
Got on you.
Zip line. Let's get ahead of that.
With you.
Alright, we just stay together.
183
Play on
metal,
low.
okay?
2x2s now. 2x2s now.
Okay. Watch me on you.
Now
It's
apply
ready.
pressure.
Come on.
Bring full. Okay, total. Above.
Get ahead a little bit with it.
Yeah.
Yeah. His short right, brother.
Playing right here.
Look me.
Okay.
Go. There we go. I have 180 metal with you.
Link that guy.
400 metal.
Yeah, nice. Look
play
back.
You
right.
can play slurps, go for height.
Okay. I have 180.
Alright, 350 mass. What do you again?
180. I'm sir.
Yeah, just make sure everything's loaded.
Observe now, be aggressive.
Oh, I'm with you.
You can't play height.
Gun back.
Yeah, I'm ducking on you.
Get on low ground
Stay
above the hill.
Yeah, with you.
Get on low ground above the
Yeah.
hill.
Oh, bro,
I'm on you. Keep on me. Chill.
just walk her back, get
Yeah,
ahead.
running.
You gotta stay on me though, get
Yeah,
out.
drop on you.
Get ahead.
Right here.
Yeah.
Gotta go. Right here.
Cut them off. Cut them off.
I
I'm
have
off.
mass.
Just use your mats. Stay front now. Stay front. Listen. Stay front.
I'm. Right here.
Chill. Yeah.
Nice. Get it.
Fine, getting in.
Chill. Let it go.
Six builds.
Okay, I'm steady.
Stay on me, I have one spot.
Right here.
Pulling it out.
100.
Dead. Other. 60.
I'm going right.
Oh yeah, I'm
100.
Yeah.
Get the mats
Two
in bar.
builds.
Hey, follow me. Get this map. I'm going
I'm
bottom
going
right.
down
Right
right.
here. Let it go.
Yeah, go ulti low.
2x2.
Matt.
Watch out. He's getting in. Hey,
One
dead. Is it one or two?
Yeah, one more. Check on my body.
Yeah.
Top 6.
There's mats behind you to your left and right. Didn't get taken.
Yeah, top 2. Top 6 right now.
I hope you got something out of that gameplay. Moving on to Fortnite settings. Tip 34 is, I cannot stress this enough, make sure you are in performance mode. Even if you have the best PC in the world with a 4090, you should still be in performance mode. Even Clix, Booga, Acorn are all in performance mode. You will also have to restart your game when you enable this. Performance mode increases FPS, reduces lag, which can help you in tournaments. And if you say performance mode looks poop, you'll get used to it. I promise. You are also going to want to put your textures to low in your view distance on Epic. This will let you see far while also having nice frames. If your PC is a little better, you can put your textures on Epic, but beware. My last and final tip of this video is to turn on custom diagonals. Custom diagonals will help you move side to side more efficiently. Think of custom diagonals like Save the World movement. This will help you place walls while you're still walking forward. Here's a side-by-side comparison. Thank you guys for watching through this video. I hope you did learn something new today. If you did, tell me what it was down in the comments. Be sure to use code peeper in the item shop, and I'll see you in the next one. Peeps, out.